that it could stream it. Alright, this is the official stream. I don't care that I have a new memory photos app. Chances are by next year that memory will be deleted, so it's not much of a memory, is it? No. Anyways, we are preparing to race. Yeah, you can if you want. I don't care. I'm going to read the rulebook for a bit here. See exactly what the pre-race procedures were. And we'll go from there. Now, won't we? So, each Grand Prix will have strict pre-race procedures. I'll go through that in a second. I'm doing something. Yeah. So, each race will have strict... Well, actually, qualifying. Major rules. I didn't do anything for qualifying or practice. I'm the only one... Alright. Here is the official... Alright, let's get Cole in the party first. Jordan will receive a penalty. It's not going to be severe, but he will receive a penalty for... He will have to qualify last. Because he's missing the driver's meeting. We're going to call this the rider's meeting. Here are the major rules for the Grand Prix. Every rider must be on a donkey. That was put in place after the Savania Grand Prix when Jordan rode a horse. And the donkeys must be named, and they must keep that name for the entirety of the race without being changed. And a rider must not switch donkeys either, unless they have permission to, which is really only if somebody else kills their donkey. Everybody must obey all track limits put up. The track limits here are just stay within the white lines. Do not go on the grass. Or do not go fully on the grass at any point. Otherwise, you'll get a warning. The race director, which is me, is the only one who could throw a caution officially, and there must be a legit reason for it. Like someone has to go somewhere, we need to sort out something important, a malfunction with pit lane. That's something we came across last season. Hopefully that won't happen with a new tunnel though. Each race must be longer than 30 minutes and shorter for 4 hours when it comes to the full distance. I should also mention that each race, once the formation lap begins, each race has 4 hours to complete, or else it will be called. There's no more postponements unless the race hasn't started at all. Each race must reach halfway for full points to be awarded. Each race will award half points if... Alright, hey Cole. There are a couple of special scenarios, but not many. But each race will award half points if more than 5 laps are completed. And if less than half distance is completed, any race under 5 laps that hits the 4-hour mark will be ended with 0 points awarded. So it's pretty much just a canceled event at that point. If a race starts the formation lap, the 4-hour clock will begin. And if we hit 4 hours before the end of the race, then that race will end. And there are no postponements, as I already said. Once the race begins, it's on. And it can't be postponed to another day. A race might be red flagged for 2 hours in between, but that's about it. Race may be postponed if it hasn't begun yet, and crown jewels are exempt from all postponement rules. So this race must finish its full distance, or at least half distance. Pre-race procedures. Each Grand Prix will have strict pre-race procedures. Qualifying will take place 30 minutes before the race start, unless it's a sprint qualifying, which will start 45 minutes before the race start. So qualifying will begin in 10 minutes time. 10 minutes before the formation lap begins, the national anthem of the host nation will be played. So my national anthem will be played here. Everyone must be on their donkeys 60 seconds prior to the formation lap beginning. and in their respective grid spots. The formation lap begins exactly at the top of the hour. If there are less than 3 riders, the race will be postponed until more arrive. If mid-race somebody has to leave for some reason, then the race will be red flagged, and hopefully it won't go past the 4-hour mark. All donkeys will take the formation lap at a slightly reduced pace and hold their position for the entire lap. There's no penalty for not holding your position, but you're supposed to hold your position. All the riders will stand behind their grid slot. Behind their grid slot. This isn't too strict, but it is pretty strict. Until the green lights appear, and then they will go. And any jump starts will result in an extra pit stop for the person who jumped the start. So let's say Corey jumps the start. He will have to make an extra pit stop during the race. On a running start, which is like, like what NASCAR does, where they don't have the standing starts. On a running start, the leaders to slow down at the second to last corner, allowing the pack to bunch up. And once the pack is bunched up, the leader can go at any time between the final corner's exit and the start-finish line. Extra formation laps can be added if I feel it's necessary to, start the race properly. So if the pack isn't bunched up or something, we could do an extra formation lap. A standing start can be, if it's like heavy rain or something. I'm on the Xbox One. I'm on my Xbox One. I'm not on the Series X. No, it's corrupted on Series X. It's corrupted on Series X. The save's still here. I can't use it. Yeah. I just got one. Oh, so Cole has a major advantage over all of us. A standing start can be turned into a running start if I see that it needs to do that because the conditions are unsuitable. Like, we can't start the race because there's a problem with the redstone or something. Or if it's like heavy rain will result in a rolling start normally, just for safety. Normally that's a real life thing, but we could translate that to this just for realism. After 3 corner cuts, here it's 5, the rider will be given a 1-place finishing result drop. Once you get 7 of those, you start to lose points. If you're further back, then it might even be less before you start to go into the negative points. The race stewards and the race director will review all footage when determining a penalty. Sometimes it might cause a caution and it might happen during the race. Sometimes it might happen after the race. No harming donkeys or damaging the circuit. If somebody is found guilty of destroying the circuit, they will receive, or hurting another donkey, they will receive a 1 to 2 race ban or a 5-place grid drop for the next race. When the caution flies, the field must immediately slow or stop and maintain a slower speed until the green flag flies again. There will be, alright, this is a big new rule. We don't run into it often, but it's a new rule. No overtime. If there's a race that takes the yellow flag, or if there's a race that goes to the caution flag, let me reword this. If there is a race that is under caution and it enters the final lap under caution, the race will finish under caution. Under red flags, all riders must bring their donkeys back to the pits at caution speed, where they will line up in order for the restart in the pit lane. And I get to decide if that restart will be running or standing. Most of the time I can confirm it will be standing, just because they're better. Each race must have a minimum of 1 pit stop and a maximum of 5 pit stops. Only races over 200 laps can have 4 or 5 pit stops. Only tracks that have under 30 laps can be 1 pit stop. Today, we will have 3. Never must a rider pass through the pit lane. If a rider gains time through the pit lane, it's illegal. They have to give back any time that they gained. I changed that here. That rule was actually created because of what happened last time with Jordan in this race. All footage of photo finishes or cheating will be reviewed by the stewards if needed. Teams are allowed to submit an appeal, which is pretty much a challenge flag to a decision in which the incident will be reviewed again by the stewards, but the stewards will always make the final decision. The race director, my stream will always be the official footage that is reviewed, unless decided otherwise, which will be almost never. Post-race procedures. After each Grand Prix, the donkeys will enter Parc Fermé, which I believe translates to closed park in French, which means they will be pretty much in post-race inspection. When they enter that, nobody can touch any of the donkeys for any reason except for me, because I'm the one inspecting them. Health points, name tags, the riders, and the donkeys will be inspected to see if they were changed at all during the race or affected in any way. And rarely will these rules ever be bent. Really, only for freak incidents they will be. Parc Fermé also applies for after qualifying. Penalties will range from a 5-race grid penalty to a 1-race ban. All drivers must make their way to the podium post-race, but the top 3 are the only ones who could stand on the podium, and they will stand in their respective finishing positions on the podium. Podium trophies must be an item that can be placed in an item frame. The only exception is the championship-winning trophy, and after the trophies are handed out, mundane splash potions may be used as champagne. Any rider who does any... I already said that. Anybody who does anything to any donkey in Parc Fermé will have penalties. And for Crown Jewels, the Crown Jewel races are races that are bigger than all the others. There are usually 4 to 6 of them per season. I think there's 5 so far this season. These races award double points for everybody participating, and Crown Jewels have their own side championship with a trophy for winning. During a pit stop, a rider must stop in their pit box, feed their donkey 1 carrot or golden carrot, and resume action. Riders must enter in the specified pit entry area, you all know where that is, and leave in the specified pit exit area, which is through the tunnel. And riders who do not complete enough pit stops during the race will be disqualified from the results and earn 0 points. Any penalties they earn during the race, though, will still be applied. So you can't purposely disqualify yourself by not doing another pit stop just to get rid of a penalty you have. That penalty will still be applied. You just also get disqualified for it. And that is the rule book. What's up, Rodco? What's up, CJ MSA? I was reading the rule book. Sorry about and nobody's here. I have to end this stream quickly because